Hey everyone, it's DarkSTar, and today is going to be a follow-up to an earlier video that I did, which was about, do bad players affect everyone else at the table? In other words, if somebody splits their 10s against a dealer 8 or something like that, or if they stand on 14 against a dealer 9, does that hurt everyone else at the table, or is it just as likely to help as hurt? And in the long run, it has no effect. Of course, my contention is that it has no effect. But I've been challenged recently by one of our viewers that said that, well, if you've never done an actual simulation, you've never done a study on it, then you can't know for sure. And of course, he has a point. I'm going to show you today a simulation of that. That's not what I'm doing right now. Right now I'm just kind of practicing, but I did set this up with some annoying players just to give you an idea of what that might look like. Except where are my other players? Oh, there they are. Alright. Alright, now I'm obviously having serious problems with the computer, so here's what I'm going to do. When it gets to my turn here, I'm going to split these 10s, so I'm going to be an annoying dealer here. Or annoying player. And I'm going to split my 10s against this 3, even though the count is nowhere near high enough to do that. This is not a good idea, but I just want to see what happens. I think this might be kind of funny. So I'm going to split these 3 ways, and it's going to argue with me. It's going to say, you're not supposed to split 10s, which, of course, I know I'm not supposed to split 10s, but I'm going to do it anyway because, I'm just having fun here. All right. And then I should say, when we get to the simulation, what that's going to do, that's a program that plays blackjack against itself. Okay, so it just simulates rounds of blackjack. And we're going to do 400 million rounds of blackjack, over 1 million hours of playing time of blackjack, all right, which no one will probably do in their lifetime. And we're going to see what happens with different, and of course these guys are all playing crazy too. Like this guy's going to, they're all going to bust out here. This guy's going to hit his hard 13 against the 3 and lose. So obviously my splitting 10s is not going to affect them because they don't know how to play anyway. But and then looks like I won this whole thing. So all right. So like I said, 400 million rounds. All right. So I'm going to set up the simulation here. The first one, we're going to have everybody play basic strategy except for the middle player. So our test is going to be what happens when the middle player does something different. So the person in the middle seat for this one is going to play a very bad strategy where they mimic the dealer. Basically, they're going to make their hand up to a hard 17 no matter what the dealer has. All right, and excuse me. Sorry, my voice is not great today. And everyone else is going to play either complete basic strategy or just regular basic strategy. The difference is regular basic strategy is just the original basic strategy, assuming the old-fashioned Las Vegas rules. And then the complete basic strategy is dependent on the rules. So there's some little variations, but that kind of makes it a more realistic test because what you find in a casino is most people don't play perfect basic strategy. They play close to perfect basic strategy. So that's what this is going to do. Some people are going to be playing perfect basic strategy. Some people are going to be playing very close to perfect basic strategy. And then this one guy is going to be doing something completely stupid where he's going to hit until he gets hard 17 no matter what. So if he's got 14 and the dealer's got a 5, he's still going to hit. No matter what until he gets to at least 17. All right, and we're going to see what happens, how that affects the other players. All right, so here we're setting that up now. Mimic the dealer strategy. All right, put that in there. I know my computer is very slow. Sorry about that. So it's going to take a little while to set this up. But that's what we're doing now. All right, anytime now. The problem is this computer cannot multitask. Can't do two things at the same time. It's trying to record the screen and run this program. You can't do them both. So anyway, all right, we're going to flat bet on all the players are going to just bet the same amount every time. The betting has no effect on any of this, obviously. Okay, so it doesn't matter how much the person bets. So we're just going to put flat betting in because that's going to show us a more consistent result, you know. We could do another simulation sometime and see how progressive betting works. I think I did that one time with the other software. But we could always try that and see what happens with progressive betting. Like I said, I would probably need the real software to do it. This is a demo version. It has no fives. So it wouldn't be a true test in terms of how much you're going to actually win or lose. But considering everybody that is, in this case, with this being the demo software, there's no fives in the deck. And I believe, I don't know, I've heard different things. Either they're replaced with sixes or there's just no fives. I'm not sure. But the conditions are the same for all the simulations. So there's no fives for any of the simulations. So the results cannot be considered reliable in terms of what a basic strategy player will actually lose, because you're going to lose if you just play basic strategy if you're not counting, and it's not going to be accurate for what the dealer player is going to lose, but it's going to be consistent across all of them. So we'll still be able to see if that bad player affects the other player's results. Okay, so simulation's running now, and we're going to see what happens when you have a bad player in the middle of the table. How that affects. Does that affect the people that play after him, before him, everybody? What happens? And then we're going to run, of course, another simulation where everybody just plays basic strategy to see what happens. And then I'm going to try maybe to do one with a card counter to see what that does. And then we'll have an answer to this question of, does bad play actually affect the other players at the table? Again, I'm saying that it does not affect it, but many people feel that it does. So let's find out. This is the scientific way to find out. Okay, the simulation, as you can see, is running now. We're going to run 400 million rounds, and so this is going to be well over 1 million hours of playing blackjack, which nobody, of course, will do even in their lifetime. But the creator of this software says, as you can see here on the screen, it has to be at least 200 million for it to be statistically accurate. So we're going to do 400 million, double that, and see what we get. As you can see, it's already started, and our Mimic the Dealer player in the middle there, player 3, is losing over $12 an hour, and everyone else is losing about $1.30 an hour. Now, this is based on betting an average of $1 per hand. Okay, so obviously, if you want to make it more realistic, you can just move the decimal place. Say they're betting $10 a hand, it'd be like them losing $13 per hour. And our bad player losing about $120 per hour. Okay, and that's pretty close to what you'd expect. Again, I know it's a modified deck, but that's pretty close to what you would expect. All right, so we're going to try to see if we can speed this up a little bit. And so, just what this thing's doing right now, what you're looking at is the computer is playing blackjack, okay, against itself. It's got a dealer that's dealing blackjack just like in the casino, and it's got these 5 different players. All right, and 3 of them are playing regular basic strategy, which is sort of the old-fashioned basic strategy that first came out, that was in Beat the Dealer, that a lot of people play, and they don't take into consideration that you have to actually you actually have to change how you play based on the rules. You know, whether they hit soft 17 or stand on soft 17. There's some slight differences. So player 1 is taking into consideration those slight differences, and he's playing the perfect strategy for the particular game. And everyone else is playing close to a perfect game, but not quite. And of course, none of them are counting cards, and none of them are varying their bets, so they're all going to lose. It's just how much they're going to lose. All right. Let's see. I'm going to try to speed this up. Alright, so we're just about done with this. Looks like everybody, player 1, player 2, player 4, and player 5, all lost. If we move the decimal point and they were playing $10, they would have all lost about $13 an hour playing $10 a hand. Of course, this is using $1 hand, so $1 hand they lost about $1.30. Some lost $1.33, some lost $1.35, but they all lost around $1.30 or $13 for $10. And then the bad player lost what would be about $120 if we just moved the decimal place and we were assuming $10 instead of $1 like this thing was run for. All right. So that's what happens when we have a bad player. Now, what do you guys think? If we do it with everybody playing basic strategy, you think they're going to all lose a lot less? Think it's going to be just pennies that they're going to lose? Or if we move the decimal place, they're going to lose like, less than $13 an hour, which is what they're losing right now? Let's find out. All right, so what I'm doing here is everyone's going to play basic strategy, but I was trying to see if I can have one player that was adjusting their bet, and they're going to bet on a 1 to 15 spread, just to see if that player would actually do any better or worse. But they're still going to use just basic strategy, because if I put a card counter in here, that's going to throw things off possibly too, because card counters play according to the count. They don't always play basic strategy. Sometimes if you have a high count, then you don't do things like hit your 12 against the dealer 2 because the count is high. Okay, and then so now you're not being consistent, right? And a lot of people that believe in the flow of the cards don't like that inconsistency either. They don't like when you sometimes hit your 16 and other times you don't hit your 16. So sometimes like 16 against a 7, I'm always going to hit that. But 16 against a 10, I'm almost never going to hit that unless we have a negative count. So that drives these flow of the card believers nuts when you do stuff like that. So that's why I think I am going to do a simulation with a card counter too here at the end. All right, and in the interest of not boring you guys to death, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here in the video because, like I said, this computer runs really slow. So anybody thinks that I'm manipulating the video or something like that, I'll be happy to share the entire raw video with you, which is about 2 hours long. So if you really want to see it, let me know. I will provide that to you. You can see the whole long thing to make sure that I didn't pull any funny stuff in editing. All right, let's get this set up now. Okay, so now everybody's playing basic strategy. As you can see, there's all the players there, 1 through 5 on the top. Everyone's 2 of the players. The player in the middle now, instead of mimic the dealer, you see number 3 is complete basic strategy, using a 1 to 15 spread. So I don't know that that's really going to affect anything because he's still just playing basic strategy. So I'm not sure how that even fits in. But everyone else is flat betting. And it's just getting started. It hasn't run that many rounds yet, but it looks like everyone is losing about $1.30, or like I said, really should move that decimal place over and assume like $13, except for the guy in the middle. The third player is now losing about $14, and looks like the fifth player is losing about $14 an hour also, betting $10 a hand if we move the decimal place. But it just got started, so let's skip to the end and see what this looks like. Alright, so here we are, 100% in, and everybody, if we move the decimal place over, is at about 13. Looks like player 5 is at $14. These are losses, obviously. So right around $13 an hour lost. If we move the decimal place and assume $10 bet minimum, or flat betting $10. The guy in the middle, third player is betting a spread. Like I said, I'm not sure how that works with the simulation because he's still playing basic strategy, so I'm not sure when he raises. That might not even be coming into effect because of the fact that I never set up a true betting strategy for that player. So, if anything, doing slightly worse, but very slightly, with everybody playing basic strategy than they were when the guy was playing bad. If anything, it looks like the player on the end would be third base, the fifth player, is actually losing closer to $14 an hour if it was $10, like I said, if we move the decimal place. And before he was losing 13. So, I don't think that means it helps to have a bad player. I don't think that's what that means at all. It's just, it's very close. And basically, it's essentially the same. No one's losing anywhere near the $120 an hour that the bad player was losing. Okay? So, a difference of, 20 cents an hour, I don't think that really is significant, assuming $10 bets, All right, so that is the results of that. Now, I did run a simulation with a card counter as the third player, the middle player, and the computer did not record most of that, but I'm going to skip to the screen that shows you the results of that real quick here. Alright, so here's what it looks like with someone playing high opt 1. Okay, as you can see, the third player now is high opt 1, and you see he just went to positive. So that player is going to make $34 an hour moving the decimal place based on $10 an hour. Well, actually, it's a bet spread of 1 to 15, so it's like $10 to $150 per hour. But as you can see, it also does not affect any of the other players. Alright, everyone is still losing about $13 an hour. Again, I'm moving the decimal place over for $10 an hour. $10 per hand. And they're losing about $13 per hour. Or with $1, as this thing was set up originally, they're losing about $1.30 per hour. And meanwhile, the card counter, you see it shows $3.43, but move the decimal place over, assuming 10 to 150 instead of $1 to 15, and he'll make about $34 an hour. Now, I do have to caution you, remember, this is the demo sim, the demo program. There's no fives. So, really, taking those fives out is helping everyone, including the card counter. Really, the basic strategy players would be losing more than this with the fives in, and the card counter would not be making quite as much money as this with the fives in. Okay? The fives are going to hurt the player. They're going to hurt the card counter. They're going to hurt everybody. So, really, $10 to $150 spread is not going to get you $34 an hour. It's going to get you quite a bit less than that, okay, assuming you have the 5s in there. So I just want to make that clear. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. May the count be with you.